And welcome back. So I've cleaned these clippers up. Not a lot of muck on them, I must admit. They might be that the motor's on its way out, but let's see once they start running them. Managed to get that blade carrier apart, which I realised I didn't do when I was videoing it earlier, because I've just spent ages trying to undo some screws again because they was really tight. Told you these were my favourites. So cleaned up. All the hair's been removed, cleaned all the hair out from underneath here. Just got to get things back together again now, and I can swear at it and oil it right at the same time. So the first thing I'm going to put together then is these blade carrier. So these, we've got little spring tensioners on there. That's what holds them into it. The inserts are there somewhere. These have to sit in a certain way, don't they? So when they put them in, it's going to be there. That's going to face down. So your blade carrier needs to sit that way round. So we're going to make sure we can find our hole, line it up, get one of our small screws. It just sits in there. So once we've got it in part way, we will leave it loose for the time being. Same on the other side. So again, the blade will be this way with the blade sitting on top of here. The tensioners are underneath, so that is the direction it needs to go in. Again, line that hole up. Acquire one of these little small screws I'm likely to lose, hence the reason I put these together first. And once we figure out what we're doing, oh, technical hitch there. Have that on there. Yet another screwdriver to force into them holes and get my attention. Same on this side. Hear all that wind today. It's blowing a bluely here in the UK. So there's our first part together. Leave that for the time being. And the next part then, we're going to figure out how to get all this back together. Get that motor there back in there, which remember it was really a pain in the bum to get apart. So it's going to be even more of a pain in the bum to get back together again. We need to free all this up first. So again, unscrew this. I've adjusted this originally the other way around so I can get underneath it in there. So screw it out as far as it goes, gives us a little bit more space. We need a spindle to go in, so the spindle's going to drop inside there. So before I put that in, I'm going to just put a drop of oil on it just to make sure it's on there nice and easy. So you've got a couple of options in oil. You can use your clipper oil. So this is just a bog standard Moses one, I think it is, yeah? Moser clipper oil. You can put a bit of that on it. You could use a bit of engine oil on there, anything just to lubricate that shaft, really, to be honest. It's better to do it now, because when you come to do it, you can use this one up here, which most people don't realise is there. So that ball bearing in there is just pushed down. So when you put your oil on it, you press against it, it pushes it open, squirts your oil in, and it seals it back off. It's quite a nice little one-way valve. Works really well. So let's have a look at this then. So that's going to sit into here first of all. For some reason this is jammed. There we go. Get myself a bit of oil out. And all we're going to do is put a drop of our oil on that shaft there. So it's already on it. So as we push it in, we can just have a little screw bout with it. And it makes sure then that that whole shaft is oiled all the way through, doesn't it? It makes it a bit better. You can put a bit of oil on the end of there whilst this is apart. So again, we're just going to push a piece into that, and that drive block there will free itself up whilst it's easy to get to. Good. And the next part then, gear on the other side. So the gears just sits inside here. Some of these gears fit in two ways. And me having my little mental block has just realised which way, I can't remember which way it went. Test it. It's not that way. That's that way. So let's confirm that then. So the one where the bearing sticks out slightly more is the side that's going towards the back. So that way, when it comes to pressure on there, it's resting on that bearing, which again has got a drop of oil already on there because there's oil on that shaft and it's pushed it through. Going to put our nice little clip in there then to hold it in place. So again, we line that up roughly where it is. Find ourselves a screwdriver or something. Get it where we can reach. Give it a press. And that just clips into there. Want to make sure all three of them little lugs around the outside of that have caught it, so that's nicely caught in place. Now I start swearing. So this motor is going to sit in there, remember, underneath everything else. Hey! So I'm going to do this off camera for a minute. I'll be back. Good. So I've got the motor back in place. Didn't take as long as I thought it was going to be. I just had a little mental block there. Yep, so it all sits in there, sits in a bit better. So we've got that in. We need to get the switch itself in. So this switch sits on this way with the 2 wires there are going to go to them outer terminals. So we're going to connect up one to this side. It's on there, and one on the other side. Just got myself down in the bottom my fat fingers can't reach. That's going to push onto there. The one on the other side's just come back off, so I might squeeze that up a little bit tighter. It's going to be loose. So got them back into place. Let's just give that a little squeeze. Sped up. So we've got 2 of these on there. Superb. Motor's moved out. This is going to push back onto lugs onto there. So there's 2 little lugs, top and bottom. Line them up. There's one. This one was the tight one that had come off, wasn't it? Second one's in place. So that's both sets in there. Motors in there. We need to get a few screws in now to start to hold this together. So the first 2 we're going to put are these 2 in here, which are 2 of these bigger ones. So I'm going to drop one into there, one in there, and then we're going to use a nice little normal flat screwdriver to just line them up. One done. Cool, I'm happy with this one. There it goes. So we've got 2 there, and we've got 2 more down here, haven't we? So that's these 2. So one's going to drop in there. One's going to drop into here, if I can get hold of it. And then we can use our bigger screwdriver. So always with these, easy as you go the first time, because they're going to go into a bit of plastic. So see where that one doesn't feel very good. Like that. Need that. Again, we can give them a little turn by hand just to make sure we're already there. So that's good and tight. That one's good and tight. So that's our clipper head in. Let's make some adjustments on this. We can free this all up. That all works. Bearing works. Motor's clear. It's turning nicely. Just need to put the rest of it together now. So this part here then, remember we're going to put this, it's going to sit on there, but it traps in the bits of rope and the wire. So the wire is over here. So it's going to sit into there with a cable clamp on it. So we have blue on this side and our brown on this side. So they're pushed in there. Nice and good. We've got a cable clamp that's going to sit on top there. So again, it just needs to sit into there somewhere. As best as it does. Or not, as the case may be. It's starting to get on my nerves. Got there in the end. So, cables in there, don't lose them. Cable's clamped in. Our bits of string for our carry handles are going to sit along here as well. So this just clamps in place there. You can see it's got the bits on the edge of it. So it just sits in there somewhere. They can be a bit of a pain sometimes because they move and you don't realise, and then they get trapped in the plastic and it all gets caught up. As I just said, they move and he gets caught in the plastic and it gets all caught up. So this is going to sit on top of here. And there it goes, so it's in place. Now on this one, bit of string, it's falling out again, look, told you. No one believe me. And more time putting bits of blooming string in than you do anything else. So it sits back in there. You can get around it by putting a bit of glue in there if you want. And again, because these don't line up very easily, as it goes straight in. So, one's caught, second one's caught. You've got a screw there and 6 down here. So the smaller ones are going to go for first. I'm going to put the 2 back ones in. Need to change our screwdriver bit again. So I've got for the smaller one, which is this one. I'll quickly tighten these ones up. So a little one in there. Don't over tighten them just yet. One in there. Don't over tighten any of them just yet. We'll tighten them all up at the end. One here, one here. That's exciting, isn't it? Now we're going to go over it. This should be one of these, hopefully that one. Yep, that's the right one for it, so let's put that in there. So we've got our clippers all together, everything there. All we need to get now is our blade carriers in there. So we have, remember these inserts are really important. If you haven't got these in, it clamps this tight and doesn't allow it to pivot, so they need to be set inside there. So they just sit in here. They often, if you're not careful, fall out or don't sit correctly, like that one's not doing. So that one's gone in nice. This one here has decided not to play. Let's just push that back out and have another go. Oh, there it goes. And there we go. As I say, they will fall out. I told you these aren't my favourite clippers, didn't I? I think I might have mentioned it. And there it goes again. So another play, and this time I'm going to have to keep your finger in there and hold it in place. So they're going to sit in here at this point there. So we want the 2 screws. These are the flathead ones, so I'm just going to line them up. They go in there. Give that a gentle turn in there until it goes through. That's one. I don't want to tighten these right up yet because I'm going to put a little drop of oil on them before I tighten them right up. This one here. So again, just leave them a little bit loose. A little bit of oil into here, so it's going to drop on both sides. Allow that to work its way down. And now these actually, well, we saw how tight that was when I come to remove them, wasn't it? They jammed up there and would not go. They need to be quite tight because these can work loose, so they should be something that you check up on. So we have our blade carrier in place. You can see free to move. Not going to go too far. The square block there, leave a little drop of oil on here, so again into either side of that, and that's just going to sit in there, and that's where it would be on our blade carriers. Without the blade, they're going to fall out all over the place. And lastly, we've got our blade screws themselves. So these will tighten up here, and when you put your blades in, they will tighten up onto it. So cover to go on. The funny thing with these are, it says on there reset, but actually inside there is no reset. So it's probably a change in the design. They used to have a like little button that just sat out at that point and you could press it in, but they obviously haven't fitted it anymore, so they've taken it off. So although it says reset on that case, there is no reset. There's no thermo fuse on these clippers. So we line it up and there we are, good to go. Put this back together again since it's all fallen out. Sit nicely in place, he says. Sits nicely in place. So Heiniger Progress Clippers. And second least favourite clippers ever. Other ones have got the same motor and made by a different company, but second least. But if they do their job for you, they do your job. So hope you enjoyed it. I didn't. Have a good time. Click that thumbs up button. Go on. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.